guys with a complete front steps rebuild. As always, stick with us all the way to the finish and you'll see the complete before and after of the stairs rebuild and the railing installation. Do us a favor, comment, like, and subscribe. We'd highly appreciate it. First things first is the demo. That's always the first step of any rebuild. So we're going to be demo because this is breaking down and the homeowner wanted it entirely removed, but just the steps portion. They didn't want to touch the porch portion. As you can see, these cinders were decaying, they were breaking down, and that was the reason why it was time to redo it. So we got everything demoed to below grade height. We got it down to a block foundation that is on top of a concrete footing. This concrete footing goes down 3 foot, so we're rinsing everything off. We're going to be pouring 8 inches of concrete on top. We have the 2x8 exposed 5 1/4 inches above the sidewalk so that it will accommodate my 7.5 inch step when it's all said and done. Now I tied my number 4 bars into my existing porch platform because that porch platform is also tied into these footings. They wrap around in a U shape and it's all tied together. That's why you want it to tie together. You want it to move at the same time up and down if it has to. So we tie in with the rebar. We pour our high strength concrete mix 8 inches thick. Next we let it sit. We come back the next day. It's time to lay our block. We're doing our block for our second step. We're going to have 2 14-inch steps that are going to have a 7.5 inch rise. Once that's done, we do our parge coating all the way around on both of the steps. Once that's done, we're going to be pouring high strength concrete mix in the webs, in the centers of the CMUs, and in behind those blocks to tie everything completely together and make it solid. Now it's time to carve up the riser going up to our platform. We're going to be stoning that as well. We're mixing up our Type M masonry mortar, sand, water, and acrylic fortifier. We're taking Weldcrete bonder and we're painting it on after we carved up the top. Weldcrete is the best bonder in my opinion. Now I use the Type M masonry mortar, sand, water, and acrylic fortifier, which is the same mix to lay the block, to parge coat, and to lay the stone. I do my corners first. I like to stagger my corners, and then I run in between. I leave a gap for the joints, as I think the joints are what makes the stone on this particular stone. I love the running bond look for this particular stone. Now I'm getting my limestone dropped onto the truck. It's 2 14-inch treads, and before I lay those, I want to squeeze in all of my joints. My joints is the same Type M masonry mortar, sand, water, and acrylic fortifier. I squeeze them in, let them sit about an hour. I come back and I rake them out thoroughly with my finger, the back of a brush, and then I sweep them out individually with the front of the paintbrush. I use a whitewash brush to clean all the snots, humps, and bumps off and give it a clean look. Now I spread my 1/2 inch mortar bed underneath my limestone, and I make sure I have pitch running away from the home on both limestones. Now I measure up from the sidewalk to that stone, step to step, and then to the porch platform, and I want my 7.5 inches of rise on each. Now it's time to assemble my railings. I'm going to do new railings in the entirety of the porch to get them all to match and give that nice, clean, pristine look. Wants to maintain the PVC rails, so I'm putting the new PVC posts in with the steel post brackets that I'm anchoring down with 4.5 inch bolts. You drill down with a 1/4 inch masonry bit. You check plumb, level, and square as you ratchet them down and make sure they all line up with each other. Then you build the entirety of the rail running in between. When you're measuring, you make sure you measure so that it's the same measurement from the post baluster to the post to the other baluster, so there's no offset. You want it even, so you make sure you cut off both sides so it starts and finishes with the same distance in between. Then we put our support underneath to make sure that we're 3 inches off the porch. Next, we're doing our angles. It's going to be a 30-degree angle, and we fasten in our rails going up. We then put PVC glue and we glue the caps on. Railings should be anywhere from 36 to 42 inches in height. These rails are going to be 38 inches, as that's what the old ones were, and that's what the homeowner is comfortable with. Once we get the rails entirely installed, we like to go back over with a pressure washer and clean the entirety of them. So you're cleaning all of the porch up, so you're giving them a nice, clean, pristine project. So we're cleaning all of the rails all the way down, and we're also cleaning the porch top off that we just worked on. So we do both of that, then we turn our attention to cleaning all of the rails coming all the way down. Once we're satisfied with everything being completely clean, we're going to take a step back and show you guys the exact look of this porch. Thank you everyone for following. Hope you have a great day. And if you could do us a favor and follow, comment, like, and subscribe, we would highly appreciate it. Have a great day.